So we're going to do a fringe here, and because it's kind of hard to hear in the convention center, I'm going to narrate for Peter while he does it. You'll see a couple extra tips and tricks in this video that aren't in our normal instructions because of the really long nails that she has, and I will try to point them out when they're not in the instructions. He's just finishing removing her nail polish and just prepping the nail a little bit, shaping and buffing it a little bit with the file.
If I do the whole set, so I do every set 500 or 10. So I dip the finger powder to 10.
Peter's just walking everybody through how he would do a whole set if he was in a salon, every finger. But in this demo, we're only going to be doing one finger. So he's just explaining to all the people watching here how he would do it to all 10 fingers. Now he's got a really fine buffer, and he's just going to prep the nail surface a little bit, make sure that there's no shine on the nail.
So if the client may need a manicure, because some clients so the key of dipping powder, if you make the cuticle down,
After he buffs it, he's going to use the brush here to make sure that the nail is nice and clear. One of the things that can cause your liquids to get hard is if you're getting stuff like dust into the bottle, so that's why he brushes it. He's pushing back the cuticles now to help prep the surface, make sure he's got a lot of room to work with. Because her nail's really long, he's going to do an extra coat of clear before he does the colors. This isn't something that's usually in our directions, but it's a tip that Peter, our educator, has kind of picked up on his own in his salon by doing lots and lots of nails. So because of the extra length on her nails, he's putting this extra coat of clear on to help give her a little more strength in the nail. So he's going to apply the Pro Base. And one thing that you'll notice is he's going to start pretty far down the nail. He's not really that close to the cuticle. The reason he's doing this is when the nail starts to grow in, if you leave a little space like this, the dip powder will actually slope towards the cuticle instead of being a big bump. So when the nail grows in, there won't be a big bump in the back of the nail. It'll be a smooth slope down into the nail. This makes the nail less likely to catch on things like if you run your hand through your hair, etc. It won't catch. So he did this one with probably a good 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch away from the cuticle. So that's his first coat of clear that he put on there to help strengthen this longer fingernail. He's using the dipping mold. And see how he's shaking up the powder? That helps to fluff the powder up a little bit, makes it less dense, and makes it apply better to the nail. So now he's going to put a layer of Pro Base on before he dips. So this time he's going a little farther up the nail than he did with the previous coat of Pro Base, but still not all the way to the cuticle. He'll go all the way to the cuticle when he does the next layer of Pro Base. So he's applying a nice coat of Pro Base, and he's going to dip it in. So he's being very careful in putting the smile line down. And there's the smile line for the white. Now he's just going to dip the rest into the pink, and the part that's not covered in white will pick up the pink powder. And now he's got... We're not doing that nail. He's just showing everyone else how he did it.
And then you go back to do the second.
And then go back. For the sparkle, I do the brush.
Now he's going to brush real gently to make sure that any excess powder is cleaned off the nail. That's a good way to keep the excess powder from getting into your Pro Base bottle, which will cause the Pro Base to get cloudy and harden. So he's now doing his third layer of Pro Base, and he's getting almost right up to the cuticle on this one. Now we're going to do the smile line again. He's being really careful. He's pushing the powder into the finger rather than the finger into the powder so he can control it. And now we go into the pink. And there you go.
So we've done the difference. So if you think something else, I can done with the final
Oh my gosh.
He's going to brush the powder, the nail again to get any extra powder off.
So I always want to apply one coat of Pro Base on top.
Because this is an extra long nail, he's applying one more coat of Pro Base right now to give her extra strength. Usually you would be going right to the activator step right now, but because her nail's so long, he wants to make sure it's extra strong for her and doesn't break or crack, so he's using one extra coat of Pro Base right now. He's going to apply the activator now.
That takes about 20 seconds. So you would do you do all 10 things. By the time you're done with the 10 powder, you can start flowering. Since he's only doing one, yeah, that's why.
We're letting the activator dry now. Probably take about 30 to 45 seconds. You'll see that Peter's going to use his finger here and test it. So there he is testing it, making sure it's dry. When he's sure it's dry, he's going to do a little extra shaping now. Make sure that he likes the shape that the nail's in, that the cap is ready, the tip is ready to be capped. And he's going to check, and you'll see him buff a little bit to make sure that the top is smooth over the next couple steps. This is where if you have any clumps or bumps in your powder, you can file them out to make sure that they're nice and smooth. So there you go. He's making sure that that the top of the nail is nice and smooth. This is a nice gentle filing. He's not actually really removing much product. He's just trying to smooth out the product that's there. You can see him testing it with his finger occasionally to make sure he thinks it's smooth. This is a super fine buff block that he's using to just finish off that process.
Like 5 minutes, you can take it off, take that top off, and the whole thing will come off. And then you'll never have to file the client's nail.
So now he's showing everybody how smooth the nail is. No drill, just a file and a buffer. Now he's going to brush to clean it. Again, this is important to keep it getting any powder or dust from getting into your liquid jars. He's not happy with something, so he's going to fix it up a little bit. Here he goes. He's going to apply the activator now. This is what cures the powder and hardens it. and there he is capping it. That's very important to make sure that you don't get any lifting or chipping. You want to make sure that you get that capped.
You can apply the top coat right away. But I do her nail with one hand, so I'm like,
Now this is a little trick that Peter likes to use that's very important. He just put that paper towel down, and what you'll see is he's putting the top coat on now, the finish gel. Again, you'll see he's starting away from the cuticle a little bit to help with that sloping that we talked about before. And then he's going to wipe his brush on the paper towel before he goes back in. That helps him make sure that he doesn't get any dust, powder, or anything back into his jar, and then he removes any excess powder from there. That's a great tip for everybody at home. It keeps any excess activator from getting back in there or getting on the rim of your bottle.
yeah, the second coat and double coat because top coat you apply twice. You don't want to apply the two coat in the same spot.
Yeah.
And just like the Pro Base, he's going to start this top coat a little further back, almost on the cuticle there. You'll see, to make our slope go all the way to the edge of the nail. He's going to be a little more slow, a little more careful with this one. Again, he's going to cap it.
So first top coat don't go all the way up to the cuticle. Second
So
coat
the
is
top coat I want to maybe about
The second one, he goes all the way to the nail.
when you hit the two coat on the cuticle, when you hit the side, you can see that. When the nail is going off,
It's going to take about 30 to 60 seconds here for this to dry. If we were doing a full set, we would just let this dry while we continue to the rest of the nails. But since it's the only nail that we did, we'll just sit here for a minute and make sure that it dries.
And there's, so this is temperature. Oh my gosh. A lot of the girls
That nail we just did is actually this is one of the mood nails that we did. We just did this on her before this tutorial. So we'll show you what happens with a mood here.
yeah, cold.
She's already hot. Yeah, get cold one.
Hot, maybe it's cold.
Oh, that is.
So there's her mood changing nail now.
Her body is
After we had to dip it in cold water, not hot water.
That's what a lot of the girls in my town have been asking.
when it's hot, so they heal. So when it's cold,
So because her nail goes off the edge of her finger, she's actually going to have a little ombre effect on that nail because it's not touching her skin and not getting her body heat. So the tip will be cooler and the base of the nail will be warmer. All right, so Peter's going to check to see if it's dry, and there you go, it is dry. So he's just going to put some cuticle oil on now to prevent any dryness, and that nail is all set.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Can I see your nail real quick? Can I see that one? Just that one? All right, cool. And that's the final product.